Hi, welcome back to Lakeside Quilt Making Arts or Dawn of the Lake. Or if this is your first time, welcome. I'm glad that you're here. This is not the usual place where I'm doing an intro. My house has been a little busy this week, so this is my first chance to really get away from a lot of activity and say hi and update you on where things are with the ongoing journey of learning all the things about quilt making. So I had a birthday this week. So my son spent some time with me on Monday, my birthday. And so there was no quilt making going on then. Tuesday and Wednesday, I had a couple of construction guys involved in a couple of different projects at the house. And so there was no way there was going to be anything going on in the studio. I'm now sitting at the Home Depot because one of the things that my son and I did over the last few days is to kind of get started on a garden pond, a little fish aquatic pond to set on it's not really patio, but it's the garden area off of the patio. And I'm telling you, I'm drinking from a fire hose through a straw because there was so much to learn whenever you're looking at aquatic plants and all that. So that's a fun thing to do, but because I'm kind of out by myself, I thought it was a good time to say hi and kind of update you on where I am on things. However, I don't want to leave you guys with a video that just says, hey, I haven't had time to quilt. That's not what I want to do. Unfortunately, that is the way things have been. So I'm here at Home Depot, but it is not related to the fish or the garden pond. It is actually related to being in the studio. I need to raise the height of the work table that I use, the area where I do my pressing and the area where I do the tediousness of getting applique pieces ready. It is it's problematic for me to look down. When I look down, I'm using my upper thoracic and the neck at this point. Everything beyond that functions as one unit. And so it's difficult even before the surgery that I just had. Oh, I forgot to mention, doesn't my incision look great? Now, if you don't look too closely, because I've not been able to like scrub at it and really clean it up, but the bandage is off. You know, I told you guys that it would be healing really quickly. I'm fortunate that surgery incisions do heal well for me. So I knew it would. It'll go through its stages where it gets red and puffy and, that kind of thing before it settles down. But, I thought it was fine to be on camera now because this is fine, right? Right? But anyway, since I've had this surgery, I was told not to lean over. And I learned in that last video that I did for you guys that I really should be adhering to that instruction because it caused me a lot of grief, a lot of pain for 2.5 days after I did that work that you saw in the last video. I was struggling there at the end of that video. You probably can't tell. Maybe you can tell. I don't know. When I was editing, I was thinking, Dawn, you really don't look like you were feeling as bad as you were. So that's good for you. But also it's like no way people understand whenever you tell them you feel bad, if you don't look like you feel bad. Anyway, I know it's bizarre to understand the concept of instabilities and what that does to you. Let's just say it's a very serious thing, especially when it's messing with your spinal cord and your nerves. So I need to protect this area of my body, the C5 to T2, very unstable. So I got to get that work surface up. So I'm here at Home Depot. Chris and I, he's my son, Chris, we picked up a tabletop on Monday, I believe it is. Yes, on Monday. And now what I'm here at Home Depot to do is to get some lumber that I can attach to it to raise that tabletop up by about 9 inches. So I need it to not just be high, but not to be flat too. So my next objective is to try to figure out, once I get my workspace elevated, how to get it tilted towards my face, right? So it doesn't need to be like that. It needs to be up a little bit so that I'm not looking down any. I don't need to be doing any straining here. And it's very frustrating. I'm really glad I've had a lot of distraction with my son being there and it being my birthday and then having the construction guys there. Otherwise, it'd be driving me absolutely batty to be wanting to get in the studio and not being able to because my neck won't let me. But that is the way it is, and so I'm really grateful for all the distractions. They're all good and positive distractions too. That's fantastic. And another thing that's been happening, and this is what your video is going to be, this is my gift to you. You will have some quilting content, not just some Home Depot content in this video. I told you guys that one of the viewers, Sweet Cheri, had sent her templates for the second set of applique pieces for the pick a pedal. She sent those to me, and I'm almost done with them. I'll be done whenever I can get back to working on them. I'll be able to finish up and be able to send those back to her. And I'm really so grateful for that loan. But Cheri is what this video is going to be about. Cheri and I have been talking back and forth, and you know, she sends me some updates on what she's doing. She's working on the pick a pedal. So what I'm going to show you is like a little slideshow of what she's doing, and so you guys can see what one of you is doing. You've also seen Jody's work. I'd love it if anyone else of you would send in. I don't even care if it's one of the projects I'm working on. I want to see what you, the viewers, are working on, what's really just kind of making your heart just beat, right? That is creatively is calling your name. What is it? Or maybe it's your challenge. Like, this is what I'm working on, Dawn. I see you and what you're doing. You're picking these big goals, you're digging in, you're trying to learn them, you know, and I'm doing the same thing, but what I'm doing, Dawn, is on this. So show me what that is. Show me what you're working on, because it may be for a little bit here that I need to show y'all's content to you because I can't be as prolific in the studio as I want to right now. I'm going to try to get this tabletop raised up as high as I can, as quickly as I can. I probably will be able to finish that tomorrow and get the stuff today and maybe do it tomorrow. And then I can probably start the next day. That would be good. Today is Thursday. If I get it built Friday, and then on Saturday is when I could probably be up to doing anything about it. But Saturday, I have a birthday party to attend that's out of state, just 2 hours up the road, but it's out of state. And so that won't happen. So it'll be Sunday before I could actually expect to get much done. So I am doing really well. It's just because I'm having to protect my neck right now and take extra steps. And in fact, your camera, you guys are behind the camera, right? Well, you're leaning up against my neck brace. I have to wear my neck brace in the car again. That's real annoying. I was in the neck brace for like 3.5 years, and I was glad to be out of it, and to be back in it again is kind of humbling. But leaning over to work on that applique stuff, and then the consequences of that, taught me how unstable all this is, and that when my muscles are weak, everything falls apart really quickly. And so I need to listen to my doctor, wear my neck brace. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end the video now, and then the next time you hear my voice, I'm going to be in my editing room, my office area, and that's where I'll be looking at Cheri's pictures, and I'll be narrating that to you. So the audio sound will be a little bit different because I'll be in a different space. And then I will just narrate to you what her journey has been. Then we can all tell her what a great job she's doing, because she is doing a great job. So in the comments, please share some support for what Cheri's doing, but share whatever it is with Cheri that you think will help encourage her. If you see something, like, I love her colors. If you see something that she could learn, I think she'd probably appreciate any tips from that too. But for the most part, I just want you guys to kind of share amongst each other. So please send me your pictures. The email is lakesideqma@gmail.com. So guys, I'm going to end this video. I'm going to go in here to Home Depot in this rain and get what I need. I'm going to send you right now over to Dawn in not Dawn at the lake. Well, yeah, I guess it is Dawn at the lake, but Dawn in the editing room at the lake. See you in a minute. Bye. Some of these may look familiar to you. I have featured some of Cheri's work previously, as she has sent things in to me. She's been doing some hand sewing and some machine sewing. She's working on the same pick a pedal as I am, and probably some of you are as well. And it's been interesting to me as I've seen her colors change from, the lovely blue and white to this, bright tropical batiks. And then, yet another colorway that's very bright. And then she has sent some other blue and grays, and this is all going into the same quilt. Isn't that amazing? It is going to be such a lovely scrappy quilt, I think. The next one that she sent fairly recently, look at that. I love the fish in it. And it's not just because Chris and I are kind of engaged in the whole world of fish ponds and things like that, but I just always like the motif of a fish. I don't know what it is. So I asked Cheri about herself and her journey to quilt making. She's been doing it for a minute or two. She has been storing up fabrics. I think she said it was for 30 years. So if you'll see, yes, she's got a little bit of fabric, and like the rest of us, it's coming out of all the nooks and crannies where we try to hide it. And this is why her pick a petal is going to be so stunning, because she's got so many different choices to pick from. And they're not all contemporary, so they're going to be unique pieces of fabric, so they mix and blend beautifully, I think. The striped fabric in this block is from the 90s, and then the yellow harvest one is from 2003. So those are combinations you can't get unless you have a stash. I think that really speaks volumes for why we must create a stash. She said that she did that today. She just increased her stash by another big order she made. So this next quilt, let me back up and tell you something. Let's talk a little bit about who Cheri is. Cheri is a firefighting quilter. Seriously, she fights fires. And she says quilting is truly her therapy, especially when she gets a bad call and has to go out and handle that and the emotional stress of that. So Cheri's name is Cheri Eiduke. She's been just a doll to go back and forth with. She's the one that's lent me her templates, and I've been so grateful for those. So grateful. It's helped me out tremendously. I asked Cheri where she got her interest in firefighting. This was a new thing that she'd come upon later in life, or something that she'd been doing for quite a while. She said she got her training, her EMT training, in 1987. And she did private ambulance work for a bit, and then got on at Willowick in 1992. So she's been doing this for a little bit. Her dad was a firefighter in the next town over, and his uncle was a firefighter in Cleveland, Ohio, back when they had horses. Her dad was born in 1916, so this is something that's been in the family for quite a long time. You could say it's in their blood. And I just want to tip my hat and show a sign of respect to Cheri for what all she's doing. It's not an easy thing to do. It's an honorable thing to do, and especially as a woman, it's very much deserving of my respect, and I think others too. So, show Cheri some love in the comments if you don't mind. I think she deserves a few pats on the back. She has certainly had to break a few molds in order to do what she's doing. She said that when she first got started, sometime in the 90s, there was an encounter with one of the firemen that she was working with. She was crocheting at the fire station, and one of the guys came in and got mad, started yelling at her and said there were no arts and crafts at the fire station. Some of the other guys came to her defense and said, "Hey, I do puzzles, and one of the other guys at the other department across town, he hooks rugs. She's not hurting anything." That seemed to put everybody at ease with what she's doing, and she's been doing it ever since. Cheri said she started her first quilt when she was just 16. She got a pattern from a McCall's magazine, and she's been hooked ever since. But she hasn't finished that one. But that happens to all of us, doesn't it? There's always one or two that's lingering in the background calling our name. Just yesterday, Cheri started a brand new quilt. It's one for her son, Billy. Billy is now 35, but when he was 8 years old,
She started on a quilt for him using Pokemon fabric. He said he still wants it, so she has moved it to the top of the pile and actually got started on it just yesterday. She got the yellow fabric that's in the quilt, that's going to be in the quilt. She got that at the quilt show. Cheri said that she hopes that her story helps to inspire other women, and I hope it does too. None of us need to fit inside of a mold that somebody else has created. If we have it in our heart to pursue something, and it's a good, honorable thing, we shouldn't be holding ourselves back or let anybody else. So Cheri sent me an email the other day and said that she was kind of concerned about how some of her pieces were kind of puckering in the middle, kind of lifting up. I think this was the one. And so she's going to redo it, not to use a pun, but it lit a fire under her. She said, okay, I got to lean into this. So she has been fairly prolific of late. She's making some serious progress. I cannot wait to see her finished project. It's going to be so cool. One of the things that Cheri is doing now that she is really leaning into finishing on the pick a pedal is she's really getting organized about how she's approaching it. She sent me a video that kind of explains the approach that she's taking for mixing and matching her different fabric choices so that it all works together. I'm going to put that in the description of this video. It's by a YouTube channel called Quilted Chicken. She's demonstrating the logic and flow of putting together one of Jen Kingwell's quilts. The Wensleydale is the one that she's demonstrating. So I found that very helpful, and you guys might too. So I'm going to link that in the description of this video so you can find that. I really want to see Cheri's quilt finished because this is going to be awesome seeing all these different colors come together. So this blue and white quilt of Cheri's was one that she had seen as a bed turning on Primitive Gatherings. If you've not watched that channel, go and do that, because every once in a while they'll have these bed turnings where there's just a stack of quilts on top of a bed. And typically they're ones where Lisa Bonjean, the designer and store owner, main lady for Primitive Gathering channel, she collects historic vintage quilts, and so she's going to do a bed turning of one quilt after another, and it's just scrumptious to watch. Cheri wanted to do this one particular quilt that she'd seen in one of the Primitive Gatherings videos. She wanted to do it and switch the white and the blue, so it made a big difference. And when she did that, I think it's lovely. The next block that she's working on is going to be in the gray tones, it looks like. She's going to have all this done here pretty quickly. So this is our friend, another viewer like you guys, Cheri, who deserves a big high five and a lot of praise for what she does for profession. Firefighting is not a passive calling, right? That is putting your life on the line, and it's a very stressful thing. So I don't know about you, but I can really see where some quilting therapy would be just what the doctor ordered for somebody in Cheri's line of work. I have enjoyed showing these to you, and I really want to show you guys some more. So please send at lakesidaqma@gmail.com. Send me some of your work too, so I can feature it. I'll be checking my email, and I can't wait to see what's in it. I think one of the things that we can really appreciate about Cheri is that, just like us, just because she's got too many irons in the fire, and again, I don't mean to make a pun because she's a firefighter, but that is her expression that she had used to me. She had too many irons in the fire, and she wasn't happy with how things were turning out. So she decided, hey, I'm here to learn, so I'm going to undo some of these I don't like, and I'm going to redo them, and we're going to see what happens next. I think that's a stick-to-itness that most of us can appreciate, right? And as soon as she started readdressing things and kind of focusing on her work, then things started to lie flatter, and she likes it a whole lot better. Cheri is not only working on the pick a pedal, she's also working on the Back Quarter Shop's Moonbeam. I think that's the charity one that they're doing. Cheri says she gets her inspiration, just like you and I do. One of the most recent quilt shows she went to was the Wayne County Quilt Show. She took some pictures of some of the things that inspired her the most, and those are on screen now. The first one, the beehive, that's just so fun, isn't it? we don't know who to give credit to for that. So if you know who it is, let me know, and I will put that in the comments section or in the description. But I just wanted to show you the kind of thing that inspires Cheri, and that quilt is one of them. Another style that really speaks to Cheri is this one. I think it's called the Onion. And it is, well, Blue Onion 1 is what this one is made by and quilted by Mary Mahoney.
Well, I was going to wait until I got back in the car to cut the end of this video for you, but I figured I might look like a drowned rat by then, so I'm just going to do it this way. Okay, so who else is encouraged, right? Isn't it nice to see somebody else's work? I love everything that Cheri's done, especially her colorway. My friends, thank you for being on this journey with me and having all the patience in the world while I navigate the different things that are going on between my body and my life. It's atypical stuff. I know that it's probably very hard for you guys to appreciate. I mean, you can appreciate, having someone else in your home and, the distractions of that and a typical surgery and, those kinds of things. But this wasn't a standard surgery because it's out of state, and then it's because of an illness that is still, that's still a very active thing in my life. And that's the reason it gets brought up so much, because it is still a very active thing. It will always be an active thing. It will always be presenting obstacles that I have to kind of step around and step over. But I keep on stepping around and stepping over so I can keep that needle moving. And that's what I ask of you too. Whatever's going on in your life, stay positive, my friends. Stay encouraged, stay motivated, and please stay here with me. Like this channel, subscribe, and comment. Please comment and send me your pictures. All of that kind of involvement helps this channel tremendously, and it fuels my soul. It really does. So send me your pictures, lakesideqma@gmail.com. I appreciate you so much. Take care, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.